just think putting my head down and focusing on today is kind of how I go about my season. And regardless of any rumors or anything like that, that's what I'm going to continue to do, you know.
Do you pay attention? Do you pay attention to them? Do you just disregard them? Does like your family say, hey, this is what they're saying about you now?
Yeah, I mean, there's chatter. I mean, there's TVs on. You know, you see stuff for sure. But, you know, the conversations you have in the locker room and with the front office and manager and all that, you know, I think those carry a lot more weight than anything you see on TV.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV and the Section 1904 podcast. I am Marty Caswell, and that is our friend Daniel Jeremiah. We are brought to you today's episode by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Listen, I'm digging deep, man. I'm chasing every single bit of Padres news, rumors, information that I can have, and that includes Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network, ESPN. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. There's a lot of news going on in your world, in the media world. What is the correct way to introduce you these days?
I still think NFL Network is still probably the way to go, but it's under new management. So now it's under the ESPN umbrella. So my checks say Disney. So my checks went from saying National Football League to saying Disney, and I got some free Disneyland passes. So, you know, hey, you take what you can get, Marty.
Free Disney passes, that's good for
my
you.
My kids are all grown. It would have been great like 10 years ago.
Really?
So, yeah.
Well, if you need any Disney advice, I'm an expert. I go all the time. Really? Oh, dude, I have a Magic Key Pass. I've had it forever. I'm getting ready for all the Avengers Campus, the expansion. That's another show for the time.
Have you ever done really Disney After Dark?
I have no, but I need to do that.
You're missing out. You can't label yourself an expert if you haven't done Disney After Dark, because the whole park empties out.
I know.
And you can just go on everything real fast.
I know, but I can go. I have ways to go on everything real fast during the daytime, and you can't with an 8-year-old. Okay. I'm not keeping a kid up late at night. But DJ, it's really, really good to see you. I have not seen you at Petco Park in a very long time. This is the right time to get you, because between August 1st and August 3rd is a very, very busy time. August 3rd, as we know, is the trade deadline. August 1st, I mean, training camps are underway right now, right? A lot of teams are getting together, and I do have a list of questions I do want to ask you, maybe 5 or 6 questions on the NFL. Yeah. Am I talking to you right now as Daniel Jeremiah, impartial baseball analyst, Daniel Jeremiah, rabid diehard Padres fan, or Daniel Jeremiah, NFL analyst? Let's go with Daniel Jeremiah, the avid, rabid Padres fan first. What do you make of this team, 50 and 51, somehow hanging in, although they're not really playing great baseball, and they're just warped in inconsistency?
Yeah, I this is where I've landed on this, because it's been such a frustrating season to watch as a fan. Mm-hmm. And I think what happens is I am a Padre fan. I'm not watching baseball games across the landscape. So I'm comparing this Padres team versus previous Padre teams where, they've gone into the playoffs, and the Dodgers have even said as such, in 24, I guess it was. They're that was the best team in baseball. They didn't win it, but they were the best team. And they've been right there. These playoff teams, you could go into the postseason and say, we got a shot. And so when you compare it to those teams, you're like, this team is not any good. This team doesn't even come close to stacking up to those teams. There's the injuries to Pivetta and Musgrove and Darvish. Mm-hmm. They just weren't going to be able to overcome that. Mm-hmm. So you're just we stink. We're not any good, and this is a bad year. And then we have to sell, which I've been thinking for a long time. You got to sell, and then when you pick your head up and you stop just focusing on your team and you look around, you're like, well, any of these wild card teams any good? They're still only 2 games out, because this is just kind of a mid group. You've got the Dodgers and the Brewers and the Phillies, I guess you could put up there. I mean, the Braves have kind of floundered a little bit. Yeah. But I mean, you're looking at if you're the Padres and you're sitting here going, how are we going to sell? The Cardinals are so average, the Pirates are average, the Marlins are average. All these the Diamondbacks, you see them up close, they're not great. So I think it's hard when you're just watching your team to be why would we ever buy anything? This team's not going anywhere. And then when you look around, you're like, well, actually, none of these teams are any good. Yeah.
And by the way, if the Padres were in the American League, you're going for it, because it's such a mediocre. You don't really have great teams. Just American League West, if they were in the AL West, you're going for it because the mediocrity of that division.
So can I give you a theory real quick,
Yeah,
Marty?
please.
I was talking to a buddy in baseball. It wasn't AJ, it was somebody else. And I asked, I said, why is it so, it seems like it's just such a watered down league right now. Like you have a couple good teams and then it's just, everybody else is just dead dog average. And they said, well, when they added the extra wild card team, and this is not the Padres who've spent money and are going for it, but the majority of these teams have been like, we want to spend just enough and try just hard enough to be an 84, 85 win team, like so we can get that last wild card. So it's like we're trying, but we're not like really trying, but we're not tanking. What used to be like we're not going to be good enough to get into the playoffs, so we're going to run to the bottom. Now there's a bunch of teams that are just trying to kind of compete. So, and he said, you add that on top of pitching being better than it's ever been, nobody can hit. And so it's just kind of like a dead dog average league right now.
How many times? This is possibly the most aggravating season in a long time to watch this team. And I keep waiting. Like I'm thinking of the comments that Craig Stammen made just a couple months earlier. Hey, back of the baseball card. I believe these guys, we're going to hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it took until like July 21st for us to say, there they are.
They are
Two
good.
homer games. Tatis with his first, multi-run homer he had a 2-run homer. They had all been solo shots. A blast, by the way. Manny Machado, who's been playing pretty well past month or so. The power, the OPS, it's all up right now. Merrill had a good game, but it's one game. And so I think the most Padres fans who've been watching this team think that, tonight, shutout coming.
Yeah,
That's
what it's been. It's been so good, and it's like Martin Perez flipping up 80-mile-an-hour fastballs too.
Yeah.
But I use the ESPN app or to go to ESPN.com and you can look at like the month by month breakdown, and you look at like the last 30 so games with all three of the big guys, and you're like, okay, Manny's over 1,000 OPS. Fernando's like right at 900. Merrill is, he started to pick it up a little bit. And you're like, gosh, if this would have just been the group the whole year, they'd be 5-6 games in the clear here of being a playoff team. So hopefully they, that's who they are and who they've been, and they'll continue to do that. And you can envision a way where like this team gets into the playoffs. Now I don't think there's going to be a real chance for them to make any type of a deep run. But I was talking to my dad about that earlier. I was like, so would you rather like punt on a year, not make the playoffs, and then maybe have a better chance in 27 and 28 with some of the assets? Or is there value in just saying, I think if they go to the playoffs this year, Marty, would that be like 5 of 7 years or something like that? Like,
yes. And back to back, that would be 3 straight years for the Padres.
3 straight years, yeah.
3 straight
20
years
and
for this
22,
team.
right? Yeah. So I mean, it's hard for seeing as much bad baseball as you and I have seen, like growing up here and watching so many bad teams. It's hard to punt. Like you just like, I take every playoff appearance, and you'd be thankful for it. But I don't think they're going to go anywhere when they get there. So
You're saying it is tricky. But DJ, you're saying punt on a year, and hopefully you're going to go ahead and be better next season, right? Maybe you're going to get
if there's a next season.
Let's pretend for a second that there is going to be, that it's going to be a 154 game season, whatever it's going to be. All right. Your Manny Machado is a year older, and he'll be 35 years old. Xander Bogaerts, who is regressing,
he doesn't even factor
sunken
into
costs.
Yeah,
he does not drop it. I mean, he's batting 8th now. Yeah. So you're going to get hopefully you're going to get a better version of Fernando Tatis, Jackson Merrill, and then what do you have? And you're talking about prospects. How many of let's go ahead and think of the Michael King trade, the Juan Soto trade. They get Michael King back, and that he's panned out. After that, who else has panned out?
Well, they flipped Thorpe for Cease, so that was valuable in the short term.
Yes,
but. I mean, look, I was talking to somebody about it the other day. Like, I have Anderson Espinoza. I'm still scared. I thought he was Ruben Rivera. We can go through all the list of the guys that
Ruben
we've
Rivera
gotten
was
trades
the guy. Yes.
Where we're like, these guys are going to be unbelievable. It didn't. I mean, how about Mejia? Like when we got him,
Francisco Mejia,
the hot catching prospect from Cleveland, like that. Like he was supposed to take off. Like so many of these guys don't. But the other side of it is, obviously Tatis was a big one. But if you look at it and go, the future of the team, if for some reason they were 5 games out at the deadline and they decided to trade Mason Miller or what have you, and you go, okay, well, if you could get another really talented position player, then you go, okay, well, you have Merrill, Tatis, hopefully Salas in a year or two, and then that other new player. Then you've got 4 guys who kind of extend out your core a little bit. At least there's some young guys to build around. But I've stopped including Bogart. Bogarts, they're just going to end up just eating the money. And the whole thing is, if you could do a trade and get, obviously DeVries was going to be that guy, but if you got some of these other prospects coming in that have some upside at the shortstop position, you're going to have a rookie deal starter at shortstop pretty soon here. And then you're just going to justify it and say, okay, well, our budget's the same for this position, but we've just let Bogarts go, and it's basically like we're paying this second-year player $25 million a year.
How about C.J. Abrams? Nats could be sellers. He's a guy, when you look at likely
back.
To go, C.J. Abrams. Bring back all the shortstops.
I know. Remember that whole thing? Like, everybody in the lineup is a shortstop. But I don't know. It's hard, Marty, when we've had the experiences that we've had. Like, I always remind my family when they get frustrated. I'm like, do you realize how bad it was? Like, this is...
I know.
This is good. This is as bad as this is good compared to the majority of our Padre fandom. So I can't be too complaining here.
The thing is, you need a lot. They need a lot, and you need.
Can I defend
players?
Can I defend AJ just real quick on one?
Yeah, please
thing,
go ahead.
So, and I know, because what happens is, it's with anything in sports. When you win and he's the best, when you lose, you're the worst.
Yeah.
But I would just ask, like, what teams, and I know they've spent money, but they're still not, the Dodgers or the Yankees up there at the top. You have your top 3 starters. I looked it up the other day. Like, Pivetta, I think he played 4 games this year.
4 games, yes.
Who can overcome losing your top 3 starting pitchers for the entire season?
100%.
Like, who does that?
Well,
and they don't give. It's not like they said, like, here, go spend a bunch of money to try and cover that up. He was like, he got a couple $1 million. It's like, I'll take a lottery ticket on Marquez, lottery ticket on Buehler, lottery ticket on Giolito. Like, none of those lottery tickets hit.
I forgot Giolito was still in the Padres. Yeah, but here's the thing too, and this is when, listen, he's done what he could do, and he's had back-to-back quiet off seasons because the ownership have not allowed him to spend money, right? You're making these smaller deals. You're taking a chance. You're kicking the tires on Giolito, right? Miguel Andujar was like their biggest signing. Last season it was Nick Pivetta, who turned out to be an absolute bargain. But this is where the ownership situation takes some blame, because the Padres went into this season with Nick Pivetta, with Michael King, knowing there are huge question marks in the rotation after that. Yeah. Including with Joe Musgrove coming back, for Tommy John surgery. It takes time, and a lot of guys are never the same when they come back, right? After that, it was experiments. It was Randy Vasquez. Get what you can get from him and these cheaper experiments. So there's almost like an expectation. Get this guy. Let's see what Ruben Niebla can do with him. They did not invest. They did not invest in the starting pitching, and it cost them. So you can look at, Pavetta's down. Musgrove hasn't pitched at all this season. They lost Ramon Laureano, which is a huge deal.
Nobody even talks about that. Absolutely,
it's a huge deal. Yeah. Gone for the entire season, and somehow they're in there.
Yeah. The other thing is, they have to go dumpster diving. So they went dumpster diving on pitchers. Last year they got creative and did the Pivetta contract, and then that was a massive hit. You look at what they've done in the past with like the Lugos and the Wakas, like hit. But it's just impossible to do that every year when you're trying to do that on the cheap. And then they hit on when they brought Profar, back, like he obviously who knows how juiced he was, but that was a cheap one that paid off. Sheets was a cheap one last year, good year, paid off. Ty France, cheap, but paid off this year. Like he's still hitting on some of these little lottery tickets, but it's just a lot to ask when you're trying to rely on lottery tickets.
It's when you're trying to fill out 3/5 of your rotation with cheap hits. I had this conversation with Kyle Glazer actually on Friar Territory last week, and one thing he brought up was this is the first time where they haven't really hit on some of these pitching experiments. But it's a little different though, because they're going on guys that are coming back from surgery, from some pretty big injuries. That's different than taking a flyer on some of the guys that have worked out in the past. So you heard Mason Miller there in the open, and one thing he said that was really, really interesting was that, you walk in the Padres clubhouse and the TVs are on. It's MLB Network, it's ESPN, it's the ticker of the rumors. But he said that he puts more stock into what he's hearing from, I guess I'd imagine Craig Stammen, from AJ Preller, from baseball executives about his status.
Mm-hmm.
I've discussed this with Darren. I don't think he's getting traded. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
I don't either. I think if they were just terrible and just collapse, which I mean, there's not even much time for them to do that, then maybe. But I mean, he'd have to get his doors blown off with a trade. And in my opinion, it would have to be like everybody's talking about starting pitching. I would look at it almost from the DeVries standpoint of there's got to be a highly regarded shortstop coming back, so then you can kind of you justify, okay, we traded DeVries, but we got this other shortstop we like and X, Y, and Z that kind of balances out those two moves. But it doesn't. He's still by far the best player at his position in the league. I think Passan said that the other day, and I would co-sign on that. He's a unicorn. So, and AJ likes those kind of Mount Rushmore type players around the league. He's traded for them with the Snells and the Sotos and all that stuff. Like, so I don't think they do, but I do think like all bets are off on Morejon, Peralta, Matsui, Estrada if he comes back. I could see that's where their depth is. If they're going to try and invent a starter or create a starter out of something, they're going to have to do it with their bullpen depth.
Yeah, you can trade one of those guys. I mean, Morejon's he's going to walk after the season. Jason Adam, who's still injured, is a free agent after the season. Like one baseball exec said, Mason Miller is awesome, but he's a closer. So I don't know. And again, AJ Preller is the one guy who's going to overpay to go ahead and get Mason Miller. Yeah,
how ironic though is it, Marty? This is what I just find it kind of funny with like the Padre fans. There's the wannabe miserable Padre fan. Like I don't ever want we all slip into it at times, but we got to pull ourselves out of it because the same people that were oh my goshing, how do you trade what we traded for a closer? Are the same exact people saying, we cannot trade Mason Miller. I'm like, well, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that the closer doesn't matter as much and you shouldn't trade for him and then turn around and say, even if you got this, incredible haul that you shouldn't trade. Like you can't have it both ways. All I know is we've had so many great closers with the Padres, but there was still, even like as much as and Trevor's in the Hall of Fame, I love him to death. At the end, like you're still like there was a little bit of like, okay, hopefully, let's get through this ninth. Even as great as he is, with Mason Miller, have you ever felt more peace when a closer comes into the game?
Nope.
Is he going to strike out 2 or 3? Like that's the only thing that's to be determined.
Yeah, it's a treat watching him. To your point, I think in April, May, when he was kneeling down, the National League like pitcher of the month or whatnot, we were not talking about DeVries. But as the team struggles, you are. All right, DJ, I'm just based on a tweet that I saw you responding to someone when you're ready to sell.
Yeah, that's the personnel side of me.
Okay.
The personnel side of me says,
guy.
I do the confetti test. Is this team good enough to win the championship and have the confetti fall down? And I don't see that. I would love to be pleasantly surprised. But so if you're not going to be a championship level team and you've got some assets, and I was thinking like really Morejon more so than Miller, but like, gosh, you might get a nice return even on a rental, and he's going to be gone after the year. Like that to me helps you get closer to the team that could eventually win a championship. I would love to be surprised, Marty, but even with some aggressive moves, I don't see how this team could be a championship caliber team. So from that standpoint, from my old job and the personnel side of things, it's like, okay, well, that's what matters. So let's move towards that, and that would be selling.
Okay, personnel guy. Again, I told you I was going to talk to 3 different Daniel Jeremiahs today.
Yeah.
One was the Padres fan, one was the personnel guy, and then we'll get to the NFL guy to go ahead and wrap this show. Yeah. How many blue chip players? I mean, we always talk about blue chips when we talk about the NFL. How many blue chip players do you see on this roster right now? When you're talking about the future, and I don't even know, are we talking about retooling, rebuilding? Imagine being the Oilers and you're coming into a situation where you are rebuilding. I'd be shocked if they did that. But how many guys in this team do you build around?
Yeah, I love this term, and I heard it the other day, so that's not mine, but I was like, gosh, what a great term. We should use this in football. It was a skinny rebuild. Have you heard this?
I have not.
Is it not perfect?
Okay.
It's a skinny rebuild. Like we're going to rebuild some things, but we still have, like, at the end of the day, you have your core components. And I know, talk about Manny, and I know he had such bad ball luck early in the year. Like he's I still think he's going to hit 30 home runs for another 3 or 4 years. So
I agree.
I don't think that he's falling off a cliff like some people have thought. His average is what it is because he had terrible batted ball luck. But he's going to hit 35 home runs and have close to 100 RBIs. So he's still part of this for the next 3 or 4 years as being like a key piece. And then you've got Merrill and Tatis, and I know Merrill hasn't had the year. He's 23 years old. He's been better on the bases than he's ever been. He's continued to get better as a center fielder, so he's pretty elite in those two areas. And the bat is he's got all the talent. So with him and Tatis, like those are your three building blocks, and you've got Mason Miller on the back end as as obviously the best of the best at what he does. So those would be kind of the building blocks. And then you're hoping, again, whether it's next year or the year after, that hopefully Salas kind of solves the long-term issues there. Campusano can hit now. Like, it's been fun to watch him get confidence after, previous regimes there had kind of killed it. I can still see Blake Snell in Pittsburgh in that game. Do you remember that? He just kept shaking him off. And I'm like, gosh, this poor kid, he's just destroying this guy just because you can't throw a strike. But anyways,
then Mike Schilt wanted no part of him. Bob wanted no part of him. So they finally found a guy that would go ahead and believe in him.
He can hit, Marty, but God Almighty, it is tough to watch him catch a baseball. Like
he's your best catcher. He is the best catcher on this team right now. Like if you're gonna let's just say you're in a playoff series, you're starting Luis Campusano every single day. You just
can I do my Freddie Fermin impression real quick?
Oh boy.
Okay, here's the strike zone. Here's the pitch. Freddie, it's not like it's here. It's like over here. Why are we challenging this thing in the second inning? What are you doing? What are you doing?
And I'm not going to make light of this, but he's gotten hit in the head a lot this season. Like he is a one hit away from being Austin Nola. Where you've got to. I mean, seriously,
I do feel the one thing I do feel bad for Campusano. Only the Padres fans that are like really watching this stuff will totally pick up on it. If you watch when Buehler's pitching, it's my favorite thing to watch because any borderline pitch, Buehler is staring at his own catcher, like basically like, I will kill you if you do not challenge that pitch. To the point where I think if you watch Buehler starts, there's at least one missed challenge by a catcher where they'll challenge it. It's clearly a ball. But I think after like 5 or 6 glares from Buehler, they're like, if I don't tap my head, the pitcher might come down here and fight me in the middle of the game. But he's like Buehler's intimidating the catchers into challenging some of his pitches. It's my favorite little subplot to watch when he pitches. It cracks.
I'm going to go back in now that you've given me that tidbit. I appreciate how closely you watch these things. I'm going to go back in and zero in on his last 4 starts and how his approach to the ABS.
Oh, it's fantastic! I love it.
Gosh.
I think he's challenged. He might be the only pitcher we've had that's actually challenged him himself. Like he's hit the head. He's hit the head a couple times on the mound, which you don't see a lot of that. But it's like his frustration just boils over. My theory on Buehler, by the way, if they can stay in it, like I think you could. He's such like a, even though his stuff is not anything what it was.
Right.
He's such like a warrior type postseason type guy that if they get to like if they're in it, like his last 3 or 4 starts, I don't think he'll go, I don't think they'll let him go more than 5 innings. But I think you could see him with 4 or 5, like he could string it together. He'll pitch his best in like the last little bit of the season. Whatever he's got left in that body, he will get it all out when it's on the line because he's like a big game pitcher and kind of a warrior, even though his stuff isn't anything like it was.
Okay, so this is the last. I'm guessing I won't get a chance to talk to you before the trade deadline. Give me your gut before we turn the NFL to football.
Yeah.
Give me your gut on what Preller does at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think he buys and sells. I think he'll sell out of the bullpen a little bit, and maybe it's not more home. Maybe it's more like the Peralta, Matsui, group. Maybe it's, I don't know how far away is Estrada from coming back.
So I wouldn't be surprised if I think maybe perhaps the next homestand he's very close.
Yeah, so you got between him and Morgan.
Okay.
I just think he'll probably trade some of those guys, and then I think my guess is like. And I know he's not having as good a year, but like Schoolcraft or Mayfield, like one of those pitching prospects gets kind of moved. So I think he'll get like a bat and he'll get a starter, And I think one of those will come out of the bullpen excess, and one of them will come out of their minor leagues. I hope Salas stays, but I mean, all bets are off. Who knows?
I am, and again, I know we've been talking about Salas for a long time, but they've had a lot of forgettable prospects that don't pan out, and there's so much hype on this kid that I don't even know he can live up to those expectations.
I don't know. Yeah, I just am looking at trying to see that young core come up, but
I know that'd be good. It'd be nice.
The part of me that
Jackson Merrill's the one guy. He's the one guy.
I know. Well, I mean, the guys with the Nats have done well.
Yep,
I remember going through that process and talking to like a couple people on the Padres side of things in the personnel department, and it was like, man, Wood was the one that they were hoping they could get Soto without James Wood. They knew how good he was going to be. He's been awesome.
How ready are you for the start of? I mean, NFL. It's pretty much here, right? Training camps are underway, rookie camps, all that fun stuff.
I'll tell you how much I'm jonesing for football. I have watched like hours and hours of SEC Media Day, like just watching interviews with coaches because I'm like, I just need something. I need the football fix here. I've been watching guys, some stuff from last year, watching some of these college kids for the draft coming up next spring. But man, I'm ready. And then football, NFL footballs, the rookies are here for some of these teams. I'll head out. August 1st, I'll be at Chargers, and then I'm going to be at Cowboys a couple days later, and then I'll be in Nashville to see Cam Ward and Robert Saleh, Titans, and then I'm going to go visit the University of Georgia and speak to those guys. So I'm excited to just kind of get the fall going and kind of start moving around a little bit.
There's been a lot of head coach movement. Which one are you most? McCarthy reunited with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. John Harbaugh to the Giants. Jesse Minter, former Chargers GC, to the Ravens. Clint Kubiak is a first-time head coach now with the Raiders. Which of these pairings are you most excited about when it comes to movement from the head coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think Harbaugh, just because he'd been with the Ravens for so long, and does that, does he kind of get refreshed? Him and Jackson Dart's kind of be a fun pairing. They've been active with what they did in the off season. They got some good young players that they've added into the fold. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence not being there will be interesting to see what that looks like up front without him. But yeah, Harbaugh, just because he'd been so synonymous with the Ravens over the last 2 decades, so. To have him there in New York, and that's always a division that's going to get a lot of spotlight with the Eagles and the Cowboys and Washington. So that's one I'm probably most intrigued by. But I'll be honest, with the Chargers connection, Mike McDaniel coming in as the offensive coordinator there in terms of new coaches, that might be the one that could be the most fun just to see, Justin Herbert with a really creative offensive coordinator in mind. And Harbaugh's basically said he's the head coach of the offense. He's going to leave him alone. So it'll be interesting.
Removing Justin Herbert from the equation, which quarterback in the AFC West are you most excited about?
In the AFC West, well, I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes. I mean, they're going to be good. And,
is he back on track? They expect him to return.
I don't know the timeline on that. He's a rapid.
He's
healer.
A freak. I know.
He's been able to come back and play. So I would not anticipate. Maybe they're cautious. It's with the extra game with 17 games. Maybe they give him a month. I mean, they could probably survive without him for a month if they had to, but he'll be there for the vast majority of the season. And then I don't think we see much of Mendoza. That's their plan, at least, that he's not going to play a ton. So it'll be Kirk Cousins there as they try and let him get his bearings there in the NFL. And then Bo Nix coming off the injury, I've heard he's doing well. One of the fascinating things to keep an eye on this year is that quarterback class. From a few years back, which has been awesome. Caleb, with the excitement he's brought to the Bears and getting them in the playoffs. Drake Mays in the Super Bowl. Jade Daniels in the conference championship game, his rookie year.
Wow.
Bo Nix having the year that he had. And that's not even taking into account, like, Penix jury's still out there. JJ, I'm not as confident there. But those 4 guys, I think it's a year from now, could all be extended. So you talk about... big year for all 4 of those, those key guys who are on good teams. All those teams have a chance to make deep runs. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on those guys.
Who do you think has the edge, Tua or Michael Penix?
I would go Tua.
Just to start early on?
Yeah, I think if it's close, if it's even, that they probably go with Penix just because these, even though it wasn't this group, but he's their guy, first round pick, and he's younger. But to me, Tua, I think, in that offense can operate that offense efficiently, and they feel like they want to go out there and try and win right away. So I think that's my guess, is that it ends up being Tua. But that's a real competition. Like, there's no slam dunk. I feel like Kyler Murray have to fall flat on his face to not win the Minnesota gig.
Okay, last question. Is this the year that Josh Allen is finally the bride and not the bridesmaid?
Yeah, you know what? I was going back through, Marty, one of my favorite books, and I hadn't read it in like 20 years, but going back through Good to Great, and it's tracks all these businesses that have taken the next step. And one of the things I found interesting in it was, and they had tracked these 12 companies that had made the leap, and of the 12, 11 had promoted their CEO from within. So a lot of times people go out to find a hero and a savior on the outside, and then they bring them in. But in reality, the majority of them was somebody who knew the area, knew the landscape, and then just a little different twist on it. So Joe Brady, having the knowledge and understanding and the relationships in the building, and then now getting elevated to be the head coach. Maybe that's the missing piece here, and they get it going. I'll see him, I think, maybe it's like the third week of the season, in their new stadium, which is going to be fun. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Josh Allen, by the way, is like one of the best dudes too, so he's easy to root for.
If not, it might be time for a skinny rebuild. We're gonna start using that.
See?
Okay. See,
Yeah.
next time, like the next time I talk to AJ Preller, hopefully it's gonna be right after the trade deadline. I will find a way to go ahead and drop skinny rebuild.
I love that
which
term.
I'm borrowing from Daniel Jeremiah.
Hey, we don't need to gut the
from
place,
somewhere
Marty.
else.
It's not a fat rebuild. It's just a little skinny rebuild.
Do you rebuild with the coaching staff?
Well, I think
When you talk about confetti,
yeah.
do you see Steven Souza Jr. and Craig Stammen? Confetti's coming down.
It's not. I would say it's incomplete right now. If we stay where it is right now, it'd be a hard time passing that test. So, but it's so early for them in 1 year. Like you got to give them a year. Like, get through the whole year, evaluate the whole year. Maybe this is just you're on the runway for a long time, Marty. Maybe they finally got liftoff, and maybe this thing's going now. I will give Craig a lot of credit though, because watched a lot of the post-game stuff after just demoralizing losses.
Terrible.
That guy smiles every time. Like, I wish
does.
I had a little bit of his more positive outlook. Like, I need to be. He's challenging me to be a little bit more positive, because I don't know how he smiles in some of these things.
His smiling seems to enrage Padres fans, because they want him to go ahead and like knock something over, flip a chair, just look angry, call somebody out. It's not his nature. And one thing I'll say is this, okay? Family guy, gorgeous family. A lot of times, right when he's walking into the Padres postgame, his kids are out there waiting for him. So the first thing he sees when he walks in is his wife and his beautiful family. Then when he walks out, they jump in his arms and they hug him. So I get why, if you're Craig Stammen, and that's your biggest priority is your family, as it should be. You're not going to come in. It's just not his nature to just, throw people under the bus and throw a
piss
fit.
and vinegar with Mike
No.
Schilt.
Dude, calling people out. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Why would you ask that question? I don't understand why you would ask that. Well, you didn't. He had 2 hits. Why? Hey, what do you think the struggle? Why would you say we're struggling? I don't think Luis Ariz is struggling. Well, he hasn't hit.
What do you mean drop Tatis because he's at 0 for his last 100 with 99 strikeouts? What are you talking about? Whatever.
That's funny.
I don't even
know. Hey, the guy won 90 games 2 years in a row.
He did a lot of good things. So we can talk about that in a different episode. DJ, you're the absolute best. I know you have to go. NFL training camps. Fans can follow your excellent work, your Padres commentary, your NFL commentary at Move the Sticks. You and Bucky Books had a phenomenal podcast together. So I look forward to finding out what's next. I know you're close on announcing something. So
we'll have something by the season, Marty. I'll have something for your ears by the time we get to the NFL season. So
I think you should call it, the Skinny Rebuild.
That's a great name.
Pod, right?
Yeah, I flirted around with the idea of calling it the confetti test, because I do love that. That was my little term that I coined several years back. We referenced it today. Yes. So I might do a segment. I'm thinking about doing does that dessert that I had last night pass the confetti test? Is it just That's what we're playing with it. We got different ideas here.
I love it. You're the best.
Oh, by the way.
Yes, please.
I just found out that that ball that Tatis hit yesterday just landed. So in case you were curious about that.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. That
End on a good note.
Just real quick, the number one reason why I would be like, you know what, they can turn the corner is if the Padres are being carried by Tatis and Manny and Merrill.
Yeah.
That's one thing. If they're being carried by Samad Taylor and Gavin Sheets
Which they were.
and Luis Camposano, that's
can't be the
quite
engine.
another. These three, you're exactly right. They have to be the guys.
It's fun. It's fun to watch them. When those guys are playing like this, it actually is fun to watch.
2 games in a row. Let's go.
Yeah.
3 games in a row. All right. That's Daniel Jeremiah. I'm Marty Caswell. Thank you so much for watching Marty Time TV in the Section 1904 podcast. We are brought to you by the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort, the Players Place. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll talk to you very soon. Thanks, DJ.
Yeah, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with them. This is the Padres hitting. This is the Padres organization, how we go about taking at bats. It's on all of us, and more specifically, probably on me. You know, I'm the one in charge, and we've got to figure out a way to hit.
I mean, those coaches don't grab a bat. You know, it's us grabbing the baseball bat and going up there and putting on our gear and, you know, facing Christopher Sanchez today. You know, it's on us to go out there and perform. You know, they're giving us the information, and we're going out there and we're executing. You know, we're just not getting those results as we like, and you know, the game is like that sometimes. You know, but you got to stick to the process.